And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and I am talking today with a special guest of mine, Jeremy Streten. Jeremy, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, Michael. I'm looking forward to this chat.
Well, you and me both, because as I told you right before we started this, you wrote a book called The Business Legal Life Cycle, and the website is Business Legal Life Cycle. You teach entrepreneurs and business owners the legal side of business in common language, so we can actually understand it, because unfortunately, many of us entrepreneurs just kind of get into business and we don't think about the legal ramifications of setting it up properly or what that might mean down the road. So give us, before we get into all of that, give us a snapshot, Jeremy, of who you are, why did you do this, and where you live.
Yes, so people might be able to tell from my accent that I'm not American. I'm from a city called Brisbane in Australia, which hoping at the moment that in 2032 we'll have the Olympic Games, so everyone will know who we are by then. It's the third largest city in Australia, essentially, and so my training is a lawyer. I was a lawyer or am a lawyer, and have been for about 18 years. And I became a lawyer. I worked for a small firm that grew into a big firm. Didn't like the way that the firm was run and how they were treating us. So decided that I could do stuff better myself. And so I went and started my own business. And when I was being a lawyer and acting for people, I acted for business owners. And time again, Michael, people would come to us with problems that they could have prevented if they had just got legal advice early. And what I realized was that law is far too reactive and is not proactive. And so people come to us when there's a problem. Yep. But there's so much that we can do as an industry, as a profession, where we can actually help people to solve their problems before they arise. And it got really frustrating for me. So I had two particular matters that I acted for, where one, a lot of clients lost $1 million of other people's money. That could have been prevented if they just got legal advice. And another one where a gentleman almost lost $2 million worth of property. Again, if he just got legal advice early, it wouldn't have happened. He didn't actually lose the money, that guy, but he almost did, because of this feeling that I don't want to go and see a lawyer because they're too expensive. They're just here to solve my problems. And so I developed the business legal life cycle really out of frustration, more than anything else, with the way that the profession was run and the way that people dealt with the profession. And so really that's kind of the genesis of the thing, of the life cycle and my history behind it.
That's very cool, because as small business owners, I mean, it's just expensive to go see an attorney, right? Well, maybe on the front end, but the downside savings, it's kind of like going to the dentist, right? Twice a year to get your teeth cleaned up. Well, if you do that, you're going to avoid so many other, things. Same thing here. So let's talk about small business owners. Let's talk about, many of us just get into business because we have a great idea and we're either a sole proprietor or we do an LLC or something. Talk about some of the guidance you would give a small business owner or somebody who's getting into business, and go, here are some things you should think about that could save you down the road.
Yeah, I think it all starts with, what do you actually want? So what are you starting this business for? And knowing that what you want now might change in a year. It might be 10 years. If you told me 10 years ago when I started my business that I was going to be writing a book and speaking on podcasts, I would have laughed at you. Life evolves and life changes. So it's having an end in mind. Stephen Covey talks about having starting up with the end in mind. I think that's great. And I think you should. I just think it's an end in mind, so that people can actually, alter that goal in the future. So it comes back to, what are you trying to achieve? Because that really helps to define everything that you're going to do and all the steps that you need to take, and whether an LLC is right for you or whether some other entity is right for you, and how you should establish yourself. So really getting clear on, okay, you're starting this business. What is it starting for? And it's great advice for just anything in business, right? I do a lot of business coaching.
Totally. Yeah. You've got to know that end goal to know the pathway.
That's right. Yeah. So starting off with that is not legal, but it's crucial, because if you don't know where you're heading, then you've got no idea how you're going to get there. And so then really making sure that whatever structure you use is right for you and your circumstances.
Yeah.
We have a thing in Australia. I don't know whether you use it in America as much as we do, but barbecue advice. So it's, you go to a barbecue and you say, I'm going to start a business, and everyone's got their 2 cents that they're going to give you. And it's very well-intentioned. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing people. But what I'm saying is that well-intentioned advice may not be right for your circumstances. So,
right.
so when someone's looking to start up their business, get the right advice and really think about what are you trying to achieve, and know that might change, and be comfortable with that. So that's the first thing. And probably the second thing that I would say is what most people, when they start up a business, what they get wrong is when you start a business and you start engaging with customers or clients, you're very eager to get in there and do the work. I know that. I've been there.
Yep.
I've been
Yep.
I've been a startup business owner 3 times. I've started 3 different businesses, and you're very keen to get in there and just do everything for them. And you never, well, not never. I shouldn't use the word never. But very often, more often than not, a business owner doesn't properly engage with their clients. They don't put the right agreements in place because they're so keen to get in there and start doing the work. And what ends up happening is that might work for a year, 2, 3 years, and then something goes wrong. Because again, people's goals change, people's circumstances change, and they don't properly engage with their clients. And that comes back to bite them because they have no agreement. And the amount of times, Michael, that I see people do that and then, have a fight with someone and they have no documented agreement. I was just talking to a gentleman yesterday about this exact problem, and he's like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Well, it's going to come back to your word versus his, and who knows where the truth will lie." So, so really starting up properly and properly engaging with clients, whilst frustrating, is very, very important.
Yeah. And if you think an attorney is expensive on the front end, think about hiring an attorney to navigate you through something like that. Those attorney costs are going to go through the roof because you didn't meet with somebody up front. And I correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy. If somebody's starting a business, or even if they're in business for a year or two, and they're like, "Oh wow, I need to go meet with an attorney to figure all this out," it's not like you're going to charge them a retainer fee for the rest of their business, right? It's probably going to be a one-time fee or something like that to say, "Okay, we need to work some things out. Now you're on the right track. Go." And obviously I'm here to consult with you if you need me, but it's not like they're going to lock you into a retainer for life, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it depends on what you need for your business. Right. Some businesses do need that. So some businesses, say property development, they might need an attorney on a regular basis. Right. So maybe a retainer is right for them. But for the majority of small business owners, it's about understanding what do they need, and then fulfilling that need. So for instance, one of the things that the business legal lifecycle does is helps identify what you need in your business. So we have an online test that you take and identifies your different legal needs, and actually helps you so that you can understand what you need so you can go and engage with your lawyer. That will start doing you can do that work, and then there will be other things that will come up in the future. But you don't need to necessarily, for most small businesses, pay that ongoing fee. Unless you want to, unless that's something that you need, like you're going, and it's a good cost saving for you. But there are things that you need through the life cycle of your business that a good attorney that knows what they're doing and can place you with them can actually do for you during that life cycle. Yeah.
So let's pause there because you mentioned this a couple of times. And the book that you're is The Business Legal Life Cycle. Legal Life Cycle, right?
And don't worry, Michael. Many people make that mistake. So much so that I've thought about changing the name.
You should just get all of them. So, but the website is businesslegallifecycle.com, and right there on the front page is this quiz. So, unpack for us just at a high level, what is this quiz, and what can I expect to get from it?
So, great question. So it's about 30 questions, takes about 10 minutes. And they're really simple questions. They're plain English. They're designed for a business owner. They're not complicated legalese that, most people have no idea what they mean or they find intimidating. Because I get that. I understand that lawyers sometimes unintentionally lord over, "Oh, look what I know." So, it's deliberately kept in plain English.
Good. Thank you.
So it takes about 10 minutes. You answer the 30 questions, and then at the end of the day, you get a report, and you get the report online, and you get it emailed to you in PDF, and it sets out where you are in the life cycle. So the life cycle is 13 phases of what you need to do and when you should do it. and it will place you in one of the phases. So it might say that you're in phase 6, which is maximizing your business or bringing in investors. And then it will say, this is what you need to do in phase 6. This is what you've missed from the previous five phases. And then this is what you need to do for the future. So it gives you a report that says everything that you need to do for your business from a legal perspective. And then the other thing that we have is a portal where you can log in and check that. You can, if you don't have an attorney, you can get a referral to an attorney, and we can actually send the report to the attorney and get them to start talking to you about what you need. And then you actually have a checklist. So you can go through and check off all the things that you need to do.
Beautiful, man. That is like when I take my car to my mechanic, I've been taking it to him for 15 years. He gives me a print off of bumper to bumper, green, yellow, or red lights, right? These are fine. Yep. These need some attention coming up. Red, you need and it lets me on my vehicles to know where I am and where I'm going, right? Same thing of what you just said for business, though. I've never heard anybody doing this, and you seem to have made it really simple, because I don't talk legal, whereas, therefore, right, and all of that. I need it in plain English, and I'm glad that it only takes 10 minutes because I just don't have the time to dig into all that stuff, right? But I need to take the time. You've made it really simple.
That's right, and that's what we've tried to achieve is to make it simple so that the average person who will feel intimidated by lawyers, and we've done this to ourselves, but yeah, I want people to actually understand why they need to get things, because there's nothing more frustrating as a lawyer or attorney to say to someone you need to do something and they have no idea why they need to do it.
Yeah, totally. And I love the aspect of, if you need an attorney, you've got a referral network set up, because that's the other thing. If I don't have an attorney, how do I pick one? Who do I know? You kind of have a network of some nature set up.
That's right. Yeah, we have contacts around the US. We have around other countries as well, where we can refer people to. And if we don't have someone, then we have a network where we can find someone as well, because there's many different states in America and even in Australia. So we could definitely find someone who can help them to get the right attorney who can help you to implement what you need to do to protect your business. Okay.
Now, as business owners, right, entrepreneurs, we're all about serving clients, generating revenue, making a profit, right? How can business legal life cycle, how does that help a business owner actually generate more revenue, generate a profit when we have our business set up properly and we're working with, attorney? How does that work?
Yeah. Awesome question, Michael. And it's really, again, one of the frustrating things about the law. Laws are mostly about prevention. And this is mostly about prevention. So actually knowing what you're saving can actually be, it's saving a potential problem down the track. Mm-hmm. So say if you don't have your trademark registered, for instance, that may not become a problem for you, depending on your business. But it could become a problem, and you may never know that you've actually stopped that from occurring. So, how does it make you more profit? It's around the potential cost savings you have from the unknown. So, law is very much an unknown for most people, and so it's around that. Okay, you may not know what you're exactly protecting yourself from. However, done correctly and done with by protecting yourself, you can. You really save a lot of money going forward. I'll give the example that I used with one of the gentlemen who was really the catalyst for coming up with the life cycle, and that was he ran a franchise business. He was sued by franchisees for misleading and deceptive conduct. So he made promises that he couldn't keep, essentially, and he'd lost, and he was right to lose. Just he was, and he knows he did. He's put his hand up and said, "I've done the wrong thing," and he just thought he could go bankrupt and not lose everything that he had put in place and invested all his money. He didn't know what the deal was. He didn't know what the arrangement was. So he didn't know what would happen if that would occur. And because he didn't want to go and spend money on lawyers, he almost lost it all. So it wasn't, but for the fact that he spoke to one of my uncles who said, go and talk to Jeremy before you do that, because I don't think you're just going to keep all your money and go bankrupt. Right. He could have lost all that money. So it was an example. It's an example of where someone who didn't know what they didn't know could have lost a lot just by the fact that they, that if they had done that, it could have ended very badly for them.
So I'll put this in my world, right?
Yeah, please.
Going back to cars, my son has a car, and we took it in for an oil change the other day. Oil change, and they said, "Hey, by the way, you got 3 pretty bad tires out of 4. You really need to think about replacing those pretty quickly." And he's getting ready to take a 3,000-mile trip, and so somebody told us the problem. We can ignore that, and he can be on a trip in the middle of nowhere, have 2 tires blow out, and have all kinds of expenses in an unknown city. Or he can take care of it. Similar to what you're saying with the business legal life cycle, we can take that quiz, 30 questions, have it pop up to us, go, oh, I never thought about that trademark, let's say, in that aspect. I need to now start working on that. I imagine that report that we're going to get is going to reveal some things. It might confirm some things, but at least you know, right? My son knows he needs 3 tires. We didn't know that going into it because we don't check the tires, right? Same thing here in business. We're so busy servicing customers, doing our thing. We don't ever think about the legal ramifications and really the safety net, the legal safety net that could be ours if we do a little bit of work on the front end. Is that fair?
That is a great analogy. Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And people don't see that in business because, again, it's seen as reactive, not proactive. So that's where we help businesses to get achieve more and to be able to prevent these problems from occurring.
Yeah, and that's really good because rare would be the day that I would tell somebody that you need to work with an attorney to be more profitable. But I totally get how you're doing it that way to go, well, it's the same thing as saying you need to go to the dentist twice a year to keep your teeth, right?
And we're trying to shift that paradigm. We're trying to shift that paradigm for people to prevent their problems before they occur, and for attorneys and lawyers to actually help them do that. And that's part of our mission at Business Legal Lifecycle, is to really change the way that people engage with lawyers and lawyers engage with people. Yeah,
and that's really important. And if half of your attorneys are as personable as you are, you're achieving that goal, because most attorneys, we have this paradigm in our head, right? Their stuffed shirts, they have their ties on, and they look down at you. It's like, no. What I find, because we've written books for a lot of attorneys. Okay. I find most of them are just like you. They're normal people who have a passion for law, for protecting people. We've done a lot of personal injury books, right? And those in America, personal injury attorneys don't have a great reputation. What I have found is everyone we've done a book for, they are great people who are there to protect those who get hurt, most of the time through no fault of their own. They've slipped and fallen. They got hit by a car, and they find themselves in a place where they need help. And it sounds like you do the same thing for business owners. You don't want that business owner to wait until they get a lawsuit to call you. You want them to be proactive and say, here, let's take my quiz and see where you are. And over the next few months, years, whatever, you can be working to protect yourself and your business so that you can end up where you really started at the beginning of, what do you want? Why are you doing this? Is that a good summary?
Absolutely. Yep. Couldn't say it better myself.
Okay. Okay. I love taking things like this and putting it in a language I understand. Hopefully my listeners do as well. But you wrote the book, so they can go to the businesslegallifecycle.com. Actually, it's businesslegallifecycle.com. And from there, you can take the quiz. There's absolutely free. You've got a link there. You got a podcast.
The test isn't free.
Come on.
Yeah.
I set you up for that. Go ahead. Tell us.
The test is $97. However, we have a page, businesslegallifecycle.com/expert speak. And for your listeners, we'll give a 50% discount on that and have some other resources on there as well.
Look at there. Bonus. I love it. Because the information you're going to get from this is going to save you way more than $50. Trust me. You've got a podcast that's linked on your website. And you've got a link there for your book as well. So you've got so many resources there, Jeremy. It's businesslegallifecycle.com. Very simple. Just say it slowly. And on there, you're going to be able to take the quiz from business owner. You're going to be able, actually, you want to go to businesslegallifecycle/expert speak to get your bonus there.
That's right. Yep.
But check out Jeremy's podcast. It's very interesting on your podcast. I was just scrolling down the page. You've subdivided your podcast page anyway under different topics. You've got estate planning. You got all kinds of topics. So it's really cool just to scroll down there, and people can connect with you on Facebook. And I mean, you put together a really cool thing, and it's totally different, Jeremy, than most of the experts I bring on, because we're a marketing company. Most of my guests talk from a marketing perspective. You're a refreshing shot in the arm, because you're helping us understand how to run a business properly by understanding the legal aspects of running a business.
That's right.
So
yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, I'm still kind of dumbfounded. And the more we talked, I thought this is really, really cool. So I want my audience to go out to businesslegallifecycle.com, engage with Jeremy, look at, buy his book, listen to his podcast, take the business legal life cycle quiz, and find out where your business is. Because it's really, if your business is like my business, it's my baby, right? I birthed it. I've grown it. I want it to grow into maturity. And the last thing I want is to have an adolescent business that gets taken away because I failed to do something that I could have prevented. That'd be terrible, right?
It would be.
It would be.
And it is. And it happens all too often.
It does. And so hopefully after this podcast, people will understand what they can do to take the next step. And I think getting that report, taking the quiz would be a great next step, because then it's a report that they can carry with them, and they can take 1 or 2 actions a quarter or a month to start moving in the right direction. And get connected with Jeremy at businesslegallifecycle.com. And from there, just go for it. And we'll have all those links in the show notes as well. Jeremy, thank you. This has been super insightful. I've enjoyed having you. You're a great guest, and just a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michael. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, you are welcome. You take care, and enjoy, I guess, wintertime in Australia, right?
Yeah, wintertime, but think Florida. It's not that cold.
Okay, there you go. We'll take that. We'll take care, my friend.
Thanks, Michael.